What is the future of energy healing? My name is Katja Rusanen, and I'm here with Ann Hession, who is an energy healer and medical intuitive and heart-centered business expert. Her soulful sales approach is transformational for healers and soulpreneurs who are allergic to sales. And she built her own six-figure energy healing practice, and since then has devoted herself to supporting hundreds of healers and soulpreneurs create their own thriving business and doing what they love. And Anne holds a psychology degree from Harvard University and has been an energy healer and transformational coach for over 35 years. She's the author of the Energy Healing Manifesto, founder of the Soulpreneur Success Code and the Energy Healing Leadership Conference, and co-founder of the Foundation for Intuitive and Energy Healing Professionals. Welcome, Anne. It's a pleasure to have you here.
It's great to be here. I always have fun talking with you, Katja.
And before we jump to talk about the Energy Healing Leadership Conference, can you tell us about a particularly inspiring moment or experience you have had in your own energy healing journey?
Oh gosh, how much time do you have? Although I wouldn't have called it energy healing back then. I really did get exposed to that, like back in the 80s when I was two. No, just kidding. When I was much younger, and started to understand that there's a lot more to, well, really to life, but to health and healing in particular than just the sort of mechanistic chemical approach that's kind of the more dominant paradigm, as useful as that is, right? It's not the be all and end all, and started to realize that things that were happening internally, things that really, energy in the body, and our beliefs and our filters and the ways that we were experiencing things and our emotions were so much more powerful. I get exposed to a number of different things, and along the way there's just been that journey, right, that I think everyone who is interested in and has experienced energy healing has their own version, right? That their own version of that journey, and whether it's transform their health or transform their finances or transform their relationships, right? There's those moments when you realize, wow, it's not what looks like reality that's determining what's going on. It's the internal reality that is making that, right? That's making that real. And gosh, I have so many stories. Well, I'll tell you a physical one. It's so interesting. This probably started 15 or more years, more than that, years ago. I suddenly started to have a sensitivity to eating tomatoes, which sucks because I love tomatoes so much, right? But I ate them, and suddenly I was just getting these weird like skin things, and I realized it was tomatoes because I would stop and start eating them, and I muscle tested, and it was that, but I couldn't seem to get past it. And then through energy healing, working with a really wonderful energy healer, it's actually Dr. Bradley Nelson, the creator of the Emotion Code and the Body Code, who I knew, and he just kind of did a quick little check-in, like, what's up with that? Literally, we were eating lunch and I was picking out the tomatoes. I told him why. And he was very quickly using energy healing to determine that it had to do with my immune system being stressed, and that had to do with a tooth, like a particular tooth there was an issue, right? And I was like, and I knew which tooth he was going to say as soon as he said it's a tooth, because it was like the tooth, it was the problem tooth, right? And we have like the problem tooth. And there was like decay up. I'd had a root canal. There was all this decay up in there. And so when I had the tooth removed, which was really what I needed to do at that point, and there was like decay like up in the jaw. But once that was cleared out and everything, suddenly, among other things, I could eat tomatoes again. Right. And it's just right. That was just a little thing. But the point was, it was this thing that was a stress on my immune system. So when you start to get that, like, that wasn't something that, got diagnosed in any sort of more traditional medicine way, or I should say Western medical way, it took this intuition piece, right? And when you start to have experiences like that and how that can just completely shift, you really start to get right, that there is so much more to health and healing than what most of us were taught growing up. So that was just one of my stories.
Well, thank you for sharing, because I just love hearing these stories, because that might spark inspiration and insights for somebody else now listening, like, what's happening inside of me? And it just brings this whole topic in a personal level. So thank you for opening up and sharing that experience. And now I'd love to hear, because you are organizing the Energy Healing Leadership Conference. Can you tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I really, my focus for several years now has been supporting other, coaches and other sort of heart-centered entrepreneurs as well, but primarily healers, energy healers, in creating a successful business, because I know what it's like to be a healer and to be struggling. You have this amazing thing that you want to do, this difference you want to make in the world, this healing work, but boy, the business side can be so hard. So my goal and my what my business does is helping people with the sales, the marketing, the actual, and finding ways to do that feel authentic and work, really genuinely work for non-entrepreneurial people, which is who most healers are. So that's what I've been focused on. It's been growing very quickly over the last few years. And as part of that, I started to notice that, if healers are who you want to reach and help, you have to find out how to reach them, right? And I started to notice that there just didn't seem to be any good data on healers. Like it seemed like nobody was interested in studying us, right? There's actually a huge amount of data on energy healing, but not on healers. Like, who are they, and where, how to reach them, and how many there are. It seems to me that there's more and more, like they're just coming out of the woodwork, but I couldn't really prove it. Do you know what I mean? Like, no one's really focused on, or it's just this organic thing that's happening. So I had this idea that it would be really good for us to study ourselves a bit more, right? And do maybe just a really good survey of energy healers, in the US and around the world, and get a better sense of who we are and what we need. And so that I and other people who are here to support them can do that better, right? So that was the germ of the idea. And then the more people I spoke with about it, the more people who were on board with that, like, yes, we should do that. Let's get that out there. And it started to grow into these bigger ideas and, resource directory and membership and all these things. And so finally, towards the end of 2022, I was like, okay, we really have to make this happen. And I sat down, I literally thought I was going to create a PowerPoint. That was what I was like, I'm just going to create a PowerPoint to like go to people who support healers to get people behind this idea of sending out this big survey. And instead, what came out the other end, believe it or not, was a manifesto. It was the Energy Healing Manifesto. I don't know how that happened. Wasn't what I planned to do.
Came true.
It just came. I had no intention of writing it, but apparently the intention existed for it to be written. And here's what the manifesto basically says. That there is this wave, there's this expansion of energy healing happening in the world. There's more awareness of it. There's more people who are realizing they have these gifts that want them, people who want energy healing. There's so many more schools and trainings you can do. You can get professional liability insurance as an energy healer. Like, that's crazy. You could try doing that 20 years ago, right? It wouldn't have existed. Like, the signs are there, right? That there's this big wave happening, but we're in the wave, but we don't understand the wave, right? We're in the middle of it, but we can't afford to just ride it and be, this is so great. We need to be thinking ahead about what's coming next. Okay. And because really, when something is growing so big and so organically and from so many different places all at once, there's incredible and wonderful opportunities that happen with that, but there's also a lot of challenges, right? And so where is it going to go next? And it seems to me that it could kind of go one of two ways. And one is the way I would like it to go, which is that energy healing becomes more and more accepted, validated, understood, really revolutionizes the way healthcare is understood and delivered in the world, right? It goes into kind of a renaissance where it really becomes freely available to everyone. But the other way it could go is it really could kind of get shut back down, which is, kind of been underground, at least in the Western world, for a few hundred years at least, right? And that really could happen. And that's not coming from like a fear base. It's just coming from a reality base of the way things can get regulated, the way when it's not understood and not accepted, right? We have to be realistic that could really happen. And so my contention is that those of us who are healers, who want healing to be available, who receive it, it's what we do now, like in the next 5 to 10 years, that's going to be the determining factor of which way it goes. Does that make sense? We have to not just ride the wave, we have to guide it. We have to be part of it. We need to have a voice at the table in how regulations are written, right? We need to forward the education so that this amazing sacred knowledge doesn't get lost and it gets out there. We need to have more and more research to validate it. And we need to, and this is my side of it, we need to heal the business of it, heal the business of healing. You know, healers really need a lot of support. The business side is very challenging for a lot of reasons, which we won't go into great depth on that, but it's really healing the business of healing as well. So those sort of 4 pillars, right? The education, the legal and regulatory, the research, and the business side have to all get forwarded because they're all interdependent. So that's what came out of this whole manifesto. And that's what really gave birth to the leadership conference, which is really about bringing together experts in all of those 4 areas to help us create together the future of what it is that's possible in the world of energy healing. So,
I love it. And I love
taking on a life of its own.
Yeah, but I love that you got that inspiration and you took action, and now it's real, it's happening. So thank you for that, on behalf of all the healers in the world. And who is this event for, and what do you hope the attendees will gain from this experience?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's certainly it's for energy healers, but it's not only for energy healers. It's for healies, right? Those who are interested in, fascinated by energy healing, want to learn more about it, want to learn about what the research is and the different modalities and what's possible. Such an extraordinarily broad and varied field, right? So it's for anyone who really wants to. You will actually experience some energy healing, you know, just being there at the conference from different things, but also learning about this whole concept of energy medicine from the experts, from people who, you know, have developed the modalities. We'll have some extraordinary speakers, you know, Donna Eden, Dr. Bradley Nelson, Dr. Karen Khan, Master Shah, like who really are the visionaries and the leaders in the field, and also experts on the business side, right? But how to do the business in a way that works for healers. We're going to be, this is a thing that I think I hear from energy healers all the time, that they get sort of stuck and stopped by people like wanting to see the research, you know, like, hey, but are there double-blind studies? Blah, blah, blah. And the answer is yes, there are. Actually, there's a lot. And one of the things, one of the really great reasons to come to the conference is we'll actually be getting an overview of over 15,000 published studies about energy healing. An overview, right? That's a lot, but
that's a lot. Yes.
What's the state? What's the state of the union in a sense of the energy healing, research into energy healing in the world? Like where are we, and where do we want to go? And actually how individual practitioners could participate in research by submitting case studies. So that's a really exciting thing that's going to be coming out of the conference.
That is. And now people are like, where can we find more information about this Energy Healing Leadership Conference? So where can they
yeah, absolutely. Well, you'll further the link to go sign up, but it is right below. Excuse me, it's April 3rd, 4th, and 5th of 2023. And so you can go ahead, it's live online. So now you don't have to go anywhere. It'll be live online the 3 days, and you'll be able to sign up and attend all or part of it, whatever the parts. You can pick and choose the parts that work for you. And the tickets are free, but there's also a VIP. It's actually a VIIP option, which is very important, intuitive, inspired person. And that includes not only, you know, being able to attend, but the recordings and the opportunity to get free energy healing sessions with some of our featured practitioners, and so, you know, a whole bunch of other stuff. So I encourage you to do that because it's a ridiculously good deal, actually.
So check it out. The link is in the comments below. And final question. How do you see the field of energy healing evolving in the years to come? And what role do you believe events like Energy Healing Leadership Conference will play in shaping it?
I think that a lot of things are possible in the future. And again, I can't emphasize enough though that we have to proactively create it, right? We can't just assume how it's going to go. But if we do that, as long as we do start to kind of to work together more and be more collaboratively, because just as a little bit of an aside, I think the reality of energy healing in the world today is that we're not presenting a united front, right? There's sort of people off doing these extraordinary things, but they're all kind of in their own silos, right? Mm-hmm. And we have to kind of start bringing those silos together more so that we can create more powerfully together. So as long as we do that, what I think is possible is to truly revolutionize the whole concept of how health and healing happen. So such that it really is being used as part of it's in partnership with Western medicine, right? Which is extraordinary and has done extraordinary things for us, but also isn't the be all and end all, right? This is like a big missing piece. So I have a vision. I mean, I'll paint a picture for you of a future where someone's going in for surgery that's actually needed surgery, right? Because there are times when surgery truly is needed. And the surgeon getting ready for the whole thing is like, okay, we're set. Is the energy healer ready? Okay, great, let's get started, right? Where for anyone who wants that, at least, it's just normal. It's just like, of course, why wouldn't you want that, right? When you're going in and working on someone. So that kind of thing where that just becomes the norm, that's a future I could get pretty excited about.
Yeah, me too.
And the role of the conference is really getting more of that conversation started of how we can all work together. Yeah.
Yes. So thank you, Anne. And it has been great to hear about what's happening in the energy healing field. Bye for now.